I train very hard 3 to 4 times a week, I play competitive football, and I weigh over 100 kilos, and as a result, I have to eat a lot. Last month, I spent over £400 on food, but I definitely did not need to. A lot of this money was wasted on protein snacks and meals out, mainly because I didn't have time to cook. But I could have saved so much money if I just meal prepped, and so that's what I'm going to do today. In this video, I'm going to show you how I meal prep to both build muscle, lose fat, and save money. The first thing you need is meal prep containers, as of course you can't store your food if you don't have these containers. I bought around 20 for I think £10, really nothing. Get from Amazon or August, wherever you want. I'm going to be storing my food in these. First off, we're going to start with the protein sources, and the first protein source we have is 5% fat lean beef mince. Beef is one of the most nutrient-dense protein sources out there, being high in vitamin B12, iron, and also having some creatine for muscle building. And you can have it with pretty much anything, as in rice, pasta, whatever. I probably should get a higher fat one because I'll obviously one, save money, and two, it tastes nicer, but I'm just used to getting the lean one. I just always get the lean one. I prefer to get my fats through things like olive oil, peanut butter, rather than through meat. We also have pork mince, which is much cheaper than beef mince. I don't normally buy this, I normally get chicken mince instead. Salmon, again, I don't normally get salmon. I'm going to show you later what I get instead. But salmon, very high in omega-3, omega-3 being very important for your brain health and heart health. And it's definitely very important you have at least 4 pieces of oily fish in your diet per week. Mackerel, this is similar to salmon. The only reason I normally get this instead of salmon is because it's cheaper and you don't have to cook it, so much easier to make. But similar to salmon, high in omega-3, and you should have some in your diet. Protein powder, a very quick, convenient source of protein. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a complete protein source, as with meats, it has all 9 essential amino acids. You don't need to have protein powder if you're getting enough protein already. But if you're starting to struggle to eat enough protein, then have some protein powder, put a shake, maybe 2 scoops in a shake when you're low in protein. That's easy, 4 grams of protein. Eggs, probably the best food out there, as in, they're not that high in protein, only around 6 grams of protein per egg. But the combination of fats and protein, meaning they're very filling, very filling, and are also very good for your levels of testosterone, as fats are very good for your testosterone levels. Eggs are also very rich in nutrients, similar to beef, so high in vitamin B12 and other vitamins. And now for the carb sources, and the first one we have is white rice. White rice is very easily digestible, but it does lack nutrients and it doesn't keep you full. If you're trying to cut weight and maybe you can't eat 4,000 calories a day, like I do, definitely would not recommend it, but if you're starting to gain weight, it's definitely the best thing out there which you can eat. Beans, on the other hand, are probably the best carb source you can have if you're trying to lose weight, because they're very high in fiber and protein, meaning they're very filling, with the fiber also being very good for your digestion as well as heart health. Just make sure not to get baked beans being very high in sugar. I usually get black beans or kidney beans, but any beans that just aren't filled with additives are fine. Flour, which I only use to make pancakes, to be honest, not the healthiest carb source, not that high in nutrients or fiber, but as I said, I use them to make pancakes. Oats, which are a much healthier carb source as they are high in fiber. They can also be used to make pancakes, but I don't have a blender, so I can't use it. And to be honest, I don't like oat pancakes, I'd rather just have normal oats. But oats, definitely a staple on my diet, especially because it's very easy to make. Another carb source I'm going to be eating through the week is potatoes, but if I'm going to make potatoes, I'll make it right before I eat them, because if you store potatoes in the fridge, they go stale and don't taste good. Finally, for the fat sources, first of all we have unsweetened almond milk. The only reason I use unsweetened almond milk is because I want to avoid lactose, because it's not very good for my digestion. That's why we use that here. Chia seeds. This good source of omega-3 and having a decent amount of protein and fiber. But other fat sources, I have these quite sparingly to be fair, but they may make an appearance here or there. Peanut butter, the best tasting fat source out there. There was a time back in, a few years ago, when I was having 80 grams of peanut butter a day. We also have olive oil, but I actually forgot to purchase some. I'll put it on top of my food when I actually come to eat it. And also keep in mind that eggs and salmon and mackerel, which were shown in the protein section, are also fat sources as well. That's all the food, and now let's make the meals. First off, we've got the rice. I've just washed it, and now I'm going to cook it for like 20 minutes probably. I'm no expert at cooking rice, but normally I just put a lid on top and then just wait for it to cook. We're also going to be cooking all the meats on this pan, probably around 10 minutes each. No, not at the same time, because we don't want to cause cross-contamination. We're going to cook all the meats in oil spray. You can use cooking oil, or some cooking oils, because some aren't that good for you. But just keep in mind the extra calories which you'll be consuming from using cooking oils. First off, we have the beef, seasoned with onion granules, garlic granules, oregano, salt. I'm not a chef, as I always say. I'm terrible at cooking, but I don't care because I like the food I eat. It tastes good for me. And hopefully it inspires you. It means that if I can do it, anyone can do it. I used to do terrible in my cooking classes at school because I just didn't really care. I cook all the time now. I probably cook more than the average person. In fact, I do cook more than the average person. Yet again, goes to show if you're dedicated to staying in shape, you're doing anything. As cooking, we're going to make my favourite, pancakes. We've also got a weight scale because we want to be accurate. First thing we're going to put, I'm making 5 servings. We're going to use 500 grams of flour. Then we're going to use 20 eggs. We're going to add some sweetener. We're going to add the 1 litre of unsweetened almond milk. And I think this is around 50 grams of melted butter. Melted butter will make the pancakes taste so much better. To be honest, if you're trying to cut weight, I wouldn't add it, but I like my pancakes with melted butter. Now we're going to mix this together. Now, if I had a blender, this will not be necessary, and I realised this bowl is way too small and I've messed up. Yeah, I've got to be very careful. To be honest, guys, this is way too small, this bowl. But we'll see. A bit too much. Obviously, I remember this is actually the first time attempting to make this much at once. Because normally I make it on the day, and not as bad. We'll get through it, guys. It's not splashing everywhere yet. In terms of the macros of all the meals, I'll probably put them all on the screen. Obviously, you need to adjust the macros for your own goals and size and whatever. Because if you copy my macros, most of you, my macros probably aren't suitable for most of you, which is fine. No one's macros should be suitable for another person's. Everyone's macros are their own. And yes, I will be the only one consuming this food. I live alone. But then my brother's actually here. He's back from uni for the summer, but he's here for a bit. That is undercooked. Well, again, I'm not a meal prep expert. I should have used a bit more water. Also, if any of you are chefs, probably get a brain headache watching this, but I can't cook. We're going to leave the pancakes for around 10 minutes while the flour sets. So that's a very important thing. If you're going to make pancakes with flour, you need to let the flour set. So leave it for around, I say 10 minutes, but because you've made so much, probably leave it for around half an hour. Just 2 more minutes and the beef will be done. That's the beef pretty much done. Now I'm going to put the beef into a container. We're going to need to respray the pan, as you can see. We're going to add the pork. This time we're just going to season it with salt, paprika, oregano. I used to think that you couldn't have seasoning, believe it or not. I used to eat very plain, bland food. But then seasonings don't really have any calories. They make the food taste better. Yes, they cause certain minor digestive issues, which is something minor, but I don't know, maybe if you have IBS, that's something to look out for. But mostly, a few seasonings do have sugar and things. You need to be careful from those ones. But most seasonings are okay, and they add flavor to your food. And if your food's tasty, you're more likely to feel satisfied after you've eaten, which will reduce the likelihood of you overeating. Also, talk about timing. I think the rice is ready, pretty much. We're gonna turn that down. While the rice is cooking, or while everything's cooking, we're gonna put some salmon in the air fryer. We've got 2 pieces of salmon, and we're gonna put that in the air fryer. There was actually a salmon option on the air fryer, so I don't actually need to take the time myself. Sorry, I meant a fish option. I'll wait for that to cook. Now that the rice is ready, I'm going to put 3 cans of beans, cook it with the rice, so it's like a rice and beans mixture. I don't have a caterpillar, and even if I did, I can't use one. We're going to use a knife. I would say definitely get a knife. Alright, cut the thing. Now we're going to beans to the pot. Try and get the one with where you have a peeler, or you can peel the can automatically, because normally it's not safe. It's not very convenient having to get the beans out like this. Yes, my mum always tells me that you can get septic shock from cutting yourself, which is very obviously true. It's not something to joke about. I would definitely recommend learning how to use it, or getting the one can where it's good peelings. Here's the last can. Perfect, finally. My obsession with beans comes from my grandma. She used to make us stewed beans when she was alive. It used to be my favourite thing to eat. Ever since then I've always had beans. I didn't actually realise when my grandma used to make it how good they were for you, how they're high in fibre and other nutrients and things. I definitely recommend beans, especially if you're a vegan.
and you can't eat meat, then I would recommend it especially. But now we're going to try it out with rice. I make my kind of rice and beans. The pot is way too small. As you can see, my rice is all mushy. I don't care. It tastes like rice, because many people complain it's mushy, but really, rice is rice, and it's not going to taste any different. Yeah, so the reason I don't actually meal prep, I stopped meal prepping for so long, was because I used to meal prep, but then I would end up eating the food beforehand. This is when I was like overly dieted, overtrained all the time. And if you ever get to that state, you'll know that food's on your mind 24/7. And when the food was ready made, easy for me to get, it could be the most plain chicken and rice. I would end up eating it early, and I just stopped prepping. I probably should have got back to it a while ago, but when you don't drive, you can't order in bulk. I could have ordered online, which I probably should have done, but I just never got around to doing it. That's why I've just been wasting my time, wasting money. Last month was a particularly bad month. It's never been that bad. But even in general, I've just been wasting money unnecessarily on protein bars, protein snacks, sandwiches, lunch places, where I could just make the same thing at home. That's why I'm doing this meal prep. Also, it looks like the pork's pretty much done as well. Pork isn't like beef. With white meat, it's important you cook it thoroughly. Not like with beef, where you can kind of get away with it. Otherwise, you can get things like salmonella, which can kill you. I think that's pretty much. God damn. But there's rice and beans, and we're gonna push this in the container. We're gonna split that into 5 servings. The pork is also ready to turn that off. We'll put this in a container. A quick pancake batter update. It's kind of set in a bit more now. You can't actually tell how it looked at the start if I didn't show you, but it's definitely much more set. We'll give it another maybe 20-30 minutes, and then it'll be good to go. Now we're gonna boil some eggs. So we're gonna boil 10 eggs. We've already boiled some water here. I don't think it's enough. Sometimes I eat boiled eggs instead of fried eggs, because I do. Now we don't actually have 10. Upon me just counting now, we only have 8. So we're gonna boil 8 eggs instead of 10. Alright, so the battery on my camera just died. It's actually the first time I'm using that camera, like ever, and I made a huge mistake of leaving it running the entire time, because little I know the battery will clearly die if you do so. But anyway, while the camera was recharging, because I thought I'd be able to recharge it in time, I've already packed some meals, which I'll show you later. But next, we're going to make some protein oats. We've got 500 grams of oats we're going to add here. 4 scoops of protein powder. I made a big mistake. You're actually supposed to put the protein powder at the end after, when it's nearly ready. But it is what it is. And then we're going to add some water. Normally I have protein oats with milk, but I ran out of milk because I used it all for the pancakes. I'm going to use it with water, which is fine. It doesn't taste too bad with water. Okay, we're going to let it cook probably around 10 to 20 minutes. And these meals will probably last me for like 2 weeks actually. I thought it would be only 1 week, but perhaps last me for even longer. Also, the boiled eggs were probably ready a long time ago, but I just didn't take them out. And we're going to drain them. Let's take another look at the protein oats. I think they've been cooking for around 10 minutes now. Or no, not 10 minutes. 7 minutes. Shouldn't be too much longer. Probably going to have to add a bit more, potentially add a bit more water. And you might actually add some peanut butter to this as well. Yes, actually, I'm going to add some peanut butter to this as well. This is going to be roughly 80 grams of peanut butter. Because I've had peanut butter so many times, I kind of know the rough measurements. But it's split over 5 servings, so I'm not too bothered about that. Also, I would normally put sweetener as well, but I ran out when making the pancake. No more sweetener, unfortunately. I think that's pretty much ready. Quick interjection, if you're struggling with meal prep or just knowing what to eat in general to achieve your goals of either fat loss or muscle building, I've created a brand new recipe book which is full of simple recipes, some of which you can make in under 5 minutes. Click the link in the description to access it, and let's get straight back to the video. Here we have it, all the meals, and probably took me around an hour to make, but it's a lot of meals and it will hopefully last me the week, maybe even further. So the first thing we have is the protein oats. That's meal number 1. I'll probably have most of these pre-gym, I'd say, as in like lunch, like pre-gym, and that's one thing. Next is the pancake meals. Instead of making the pancakes, because I know I'll just eat them beforehand, I'll just make the batter. 1 serving is a double portion, keep in mind. These are some carb-free meals, so we have 4 boiled eggs and some salmon. I'll probably eat these on my non-training days when you don't need the carbs as much, and I eat these on my non-training days. Also, even these carb meals,
there's no way I'll eat in the morning. Minimum midday, because I don't like eating carbs in the morning. Finally, we have some rice and meat meals. That's 100 grams of rice, that's raw weight rice, as well as 250 grams of raw weight of 5% fat mince. Obviously 2 of them are pork, 3 of them are beef. That's it, and I hope you liked the video. I realised it was a bit of a pain to film because I'm using this camera for the first time. And if it turns out the audio doesn't come through, I'm going to cry, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a like if you found it useful and enjoyable. And follow me or subscribe for more content. Why not also follow me on Instagram? I've got 2 accounts, I'll put them up on the screen. And if you want, you can also take access to my brand new recipe book with simple recipes, some of which take under 5 minutes to make. Speak to you soon.